to an acceptable level for my ears, at least. Oh, we're doing a hat stream tonight. How's everybody doing? My voice is fucked. It's that portion of the cycle of neuropathy. For those of you who've been with me long enough, know it goes in cycles and flares. It's this portion. I'm mid-flare, and it's attacking the upper esophageal portion. So my voice is going to be rough. So I'm going to try and be down here for the stream, for a few streams probably. Of course, Cappy will be making an appearance in the form of turmeric tea. There we go. You know what? I'm also going to go turn the air conditioning up. Right back. Oh, lovely, Cassidy. Lovely. Oh, today was irritating. For a number of reasons. Nothing to do with y'all. Just shit in my world. Oh. Yes. Wither. So, ASMR Kai. If y'all, the regulars, need to know, I suppose, exclamation reading in chat will get you the reading list, or at least a link to the reading list. The reading list is live. So that's done. Exclamation reading, just reading. I did reading list, Amorous, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the list on the command. The command felt chunky, so I trimmed it down. Scott, that sucks. Sorry. Yes, Amorous, I was testing. But that will take you to the reading list page. I'm sure it will get expanded. It doesn't include my entire library. It just includes what I recommend for people. We have the beginner. We have the I want in depth. We have the children's list, the kids list, and also I have a section for aspiring theory heads. So there you go. The reading list is live. Daniel Woolman, no. I do believe you're barking up the wrong tree. Also, whether we do it anyway, right? Either the neolibs get them, or the conservatives get them, or we get them. Is it ethical? I don't know. But as far as Machiavellian position for fixing the world, do it. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, as I tell people, the small fiber nerves are the ones that are being affected by my progressive neuropathy, and if you ever feel stuff in your throat, congratulations, you have small fiber nerves in your throat. So it can also be affected by this. Hey, Fertus. Thank you, Sidewalk. I got a few things done today. Yeah, it's way hot still. The Discord community knows. Yeah, I mean, I'm in that position, Scott. The Discord community knows the new rules and guidelines are active. We have policies and procedures set up. We've got methods. The mods know what to do. So that's that. That was done earlier today. Also, I mean, this doesn't really affect you guys, but I'm going to redo some of the photos and stuff for the website. Like the primary, like my profile photo, like my headshot. It's from 2.5, 3 years ago now. And I'm way gaunt. You know, I'm less healthy looking. It's pre-testosterone, pre-working out, pre-diet change, pre. So I'm going to redo some of that stuff as well. Fair enough, Wither. Yeah, I'm gonna redo some of the website stuff. Retool some of it, maybe add a resource section, something like that. Actually, it's not that weather, but yeah. Yeah, that's sort of my position, Amorous. So did everybody see Danny DeVito got fucking hashtag canceled by Twitter? Not by the Twitter mob, but by Twitter itself. Twitter pulled his verified checkmark. It's fucking hilarious. Danny DeVito got his verified status removed. Is it already reinstated? Look at that. They Streisand affected that bitch like a motherfucker. Those stupid twats. Yeah, redacted. Danny DeVito basically came out and said, I forget whose fucking bullshit thing. Support. Danny DeVito posted, support Nabisco workers striking for humane working hours, fair pay, and outsourcing jobs. No contracts, no snacks. Within the day, Twitter had revoked his verified status. And he confirmed with More Perfect Union, a group that operates on Twitter as well, that Danny did in fact express his solidarity with striking Nabisco workers, and that Twitter stripped him of his verified status. DeVito confirmed it. And yeah. So they are a subsidiary of Kraft, who is a subsidiary of who's the M? It's an M. Or is it? Oh, fuck, I forget. Yeah, Mondelez International. Yeah. So these are the fuckers that basically own, like, you know, shit tons of stuff. Triscuits, Oreo, Ritz, Chips Ahoy, Belvita, fucking Trident, Dentine, Chiclets, Halls, Stride, Jello, fucking just a ton of shit. Just a ton of fucking shit that they own. I went through the list. I actually don't use anything from them. I was like, I'll boycott them, but I don't actually. I'm already functionally boycotting them. So, apparently there already is an alternative to to OnlyFans. Hold on. Yes. I don't know if I can link this here, right? I'm not linking to anything specific. Just for .fans already is a thing. Apparently it's largely targeted towards gay men, from what I understand. Like that's who primarily used the service up till now. So yeah, just for .fans, like just JUSTFOR.FANS, allows for adult blogging and marketplace actions. So if you want to sell your videos or your panties or your socks or whatever, apparently they've already got features for that. Yeah, it's already a functional platform. So just saying. They accept Visa, MasterCard, and Bitcoin. They have HD streaming. They've got live cams. They've got, like, the features are there. So just saying. I don't know what their cut is, actually. Let me try looking. Okay, so hang on. Apparently, just for .fans is not as strict with kink bans as competitors such as AVN Stars and OnlyFans. I'm not going to go through what they allow, but let's just say they allow things that OnlyFans did not. They have quality of life improvements for models and subscribers. Promotion pages, pages with free previews, dedicated store for purchasing services and items from models, a movie store separated by category. Let's see what else they got. Okay, so they take a 15% cut. They take a 15% cut. Models take 85% in payout, and a 15% commission goes to the site. Yeah. They do, Karina. They do. Yes. 1-5. Yes, that's what 15 means. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see their FAQ. They have weekly payouts, apparently. Payout is calculated on Mondays, issued on Wednesdays. Let me see. Payment. No, I want models. Count features and questions. Maximum file size upload is 10 gigabytes. That's actually impressive. Especially for that sort of thing. And yeah, they have the ability to sell physical and tangible items as well. They have trailers for stuff. They have, yeah. So there you go. Just for .fans. Tell your favorite adult performers to bail and go over there. It's FOR. But yes. And yeah, some of the things they allow are, the one thing that I see an explicit ban on is hypnosis porn. That is actively banned from the platform. But other than that, for the purposes of education and technical discussion, okay, I will iterate some of the things that they allow under the kink category that other sites such as AVN and OnlyFans do not allow. Lactation, water sports, asphyxiation, fisting, age play, and incest role play, all of which were explicitly banned at one point or another by AVN stars and OnlyFans, and are explicitly allowed by Just4.fans. So, if that's your kink, tell your favorite performers. So, I'm free to change my mind, Sven. I do it all the time. Oh boy, water sports. Is there skiing? I can't make that joke. It's a consent issue, Wither. It's a consent issue. Yeah, it's a potential consent issue. I wouldn't touch it either if I were a platform. Yeah. Exel. Yeah. Oh, caboose. Oh, caboose. Yeah, cupcake, you know. Oh, you degenerate fucks. Somebody left a comment on one of my videos on YouTube saying your belly button is kind of adorable. It was on episode 327. I think I must have gotten up and stretched and maybe shirt came up a little bit. Actually, it's actually a doable task. You could see a hypnotherapist for that. Zippy, I have a sprained ankle. No. I'm not spinning. Yeah, most what I'll do is where's my mod view? Okay. Reward requests. All right, I will reject that. I'll reject that. And then complete the rest. Oh no. I'll pass. I'll pass. I mean, a little bit better because it's not actively being injured today, but it's still injured. It's still fucked. You know, I see a specialist on Monday. Oh, let's see. I love that the fucking Streisand effect took hold on that one, Caboose. Because when we talked about it earlier on the stream, I'm sorry, on the server, it was gone, but then a bunch of articles kicked off, like a bunch of fucking articles kicked off, and it's like, whoopsie. So should we talk about the accidents, guys? We swear. Meanwhile, the Taliban has fucking accounts on Twitter. Yeah. Nice try, Twitter. Nice try. Puka. Amherst, who knows? I don't know. I'm not fucking going to their accounts to find out. I'll tell you that much. George Carlin had an old routine about how you don't need a formal... It's not even a routine. It was a piece on Politically Incorrect back before Bill Maher had been canceled by ABC. George Carlin was on, and he was talking to Dick Sargent. It's a real person's name, by the way. And he said one of the more infamous things he ever said. You don't need a formal conspiracy when like interests converge. The rich know what is good for the rich. What's good for me as a rich man is good for my fellow rich men, right? Like this is how this works. You don't need a formal conspiracy when like interests converge. The capital class fears labor organizing. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Anytime somebody speaks up about that sort of topic, anytime somebody with influence to the blue collar, to the working class, Danny DeVito speaks to them. He the proletariat likes Danny DeVito. It's Always Sunny has engendered him to an entirely new generation of people. Youngins know who the fuck Danny DeVito is, and they really do like him. Danny DeVito speaks to the workers. He came out in favor of labor. And they did what the bourgeois, the capital class, do. They were petty. They couldn't strike at him directly. He's got successful shows. People like him. But you know what they can do? Stupid little petty shit like that. And it always backfires. It always has a Streisand effect on that shit. It's Danny fucking DeVito, for fuck's sake. What'd you think was going to happen? That's right, you didn't think, did you? Some upper tier middle management dumbass fucking thought they were doing their boss's bidding and probably had some like contract labor breaker type attorney who Twitter has working for them in some capacity already. Like, yeah. So they pulled his fucking verified checkmark. Within fucking hours, the world knew about it. Amorous, I didn't watch the Discord movie. I saw that update. I didn't touch it. Fair enough, Marcus. Yeah, they pulled his verified status on Twitter, Zippy, after he came out in favor of labor. Saying, fuck it, strike. Boycott, strike. Fuck these people. It was back within hours. So, should we talk about the moron? Should we talk about the idiot domestic terrorist? This fucking genius who thought he was in front of the U.S. Capitol, but was actually in front of the Library of Congress. Oh, Fertus, that is literally my favorite episode. The boat episode is the best episode. I know many people have theirs. And then the hurricane episode with Loot shortly behind. Zippy is what it is at this point, but thank you nonetheless. It's more my voice than anything else that I'm sort of mourning at the moment. Yes, this fucking genius decides he's going to call in a goddamn bomb threat to the U.S. Capitol while sitting in front of the Library of Congress because, in the words of, was it the Missouri senator, he sympathizes because he too has concerns about dictatorial socialism taking over America, or whatever the fuck the quote was from that moron too, right? He literally is on some crazy fucking like Red Dawn Soviet socialism scare shit. And this moron who does his own research, because you know he did his own research, couldn't find the U.S. Capitol building. Even with GPS, I guess. Like, his phone, like, just ask Siri, you dumb fuck. He probably has an Android. Ask Alexa, or ask Google. Fucking how to find the U.S. Capitol building, moron. Pulls up in front of the fucking Library of Congress, phones in a goddamn bomb threat to the U.S. Capitol. Mo Brooks, yeah. Sidewalk, that moron. I mean, Marcus, I can tell them apart, but I mean, you know. Let's see here. All right, just give me 1 sec. I mean, we can try this. I don't. You know, this is okay. This is just me. All right, okay. Wrong one. This is the U.S. Capitol building. Okay, that is the rotunda. All right. This is the U.S. Capitol building. This is the Library of Congress. Okay. Capitol building. Library of Congress. Capitol. Library of Congress. Capitol. Library of Congress. I mean, Tavo, thank you for the follow. Look, I know, like, and I've got a halfway decent education. I study stuff. Maybe I'm special. Maybe I'm special. I don't know. Yeah, like I just. But it doesn't surprise me that that gentleman couldn't correctly identify a library. It's not that shocking to me. So, yeah. And TikTok, yeah. Yes, Mo Brooks of Alabama responded to the bomb threat by saying he understands the citizenry's anger directed at dictatorial socialism. Tell us you stand with the terrorist without telling us you stand with the terrorist, right? Here is Mo Brooks's entire statement. I'm aware of the Capitol bomb threat. I can't do an Alabama. I can do Tennessee, but I can't do Alabama. And I don't know if I can do it with my throat like this. I'm aware of the Capitol bomb threat. I'm monitoring the situation. I am in Alabama. My Washington staff is accounted for and safe. I pray for the safety of Capitol Police and first responders on the scene of Washington. Sadly, violence and threats of violence targeting America's political institutions are far too common. Although this terrorist motivation is not yet publicly known, and generally speaking, I understand citizenry's anger directed at dictatorial socialism and its threat to liberty, freedom, and the very fabric of American society. The way to stop socialism's march is for patriotic Americans to fight back in the 2022 and 2024 elections. I strongly encourage patriotic Americans to do exactly that, more so than ever before. Bluntly stated, America's future is at risk. Oh, do we have somebody with the fucking nail polish? Somebody give a shit? I missed. It's a chew toy, for sure. Oh, where are we? Oh, we're in just chatting. We're doing politics right now. We should be over in politics. There we go. Can you use the tag system? Virgin Supreme Gentleman. As it stands, yes, I do like. I like a good dick. But you know, of my straight friends, who, by the way, all my friends in real life, are straight dudes. About half of them have painted their nails to one degree or another. Some of them who are musically inclined have done it regularly. So that's probably not a good rubric to go by. Just, putting it out there. But yes, in fact, I do like to suck a good dick from time to time. Get railed up the ass a little bit by it. Yeah. Thank you, Puka. But yes, I would tell you to probably update that rubric just a touch. Scott, we know what's up. Actually, Karina, we're over in politics now. Gothic. What's my take on the whole on this whole Taliban BS? I mean, you're gonna have to narrow that shit down by a mile. I mean, we're barely, we don't even really want to talk about it as a channel because that horse has been beat to death at this point. I've done the historical context. I've done the cultural context. I mean, if you want, you can jump over to our Discord server and scroll way up in the comments and catch where we were discussing it as a community. But I mean, the long and short of it is, dude, Scott, I started in the prehistory for it, right? Because the Afghan region stretches to pre-fucking history, right? Like, we have to talk about the Indo-Greco control of the region to properly contextualize the last time that they maybe had a unified experience, even, right? It's ridiculous. Then, you gotta talk about the British Empire. You gotta talk about the Saudis. You gotta talk about the Pakistanis. You gotta talk about it's a whole fucking thing. The long and short of it is, Sorry, I already forgot. Gothic. The long and short of it is the region is fucked. There's very little that you, I, or any other nation, state could do about this. And so get your fucking people out and just stay out is probably the best advice. So, there you go. Yeah, like this goes back a very long ways. There's no point. There's no point. So, just call it. And just a fun fact, just some basic math for you. In the year of our Lord, 2001, the United States government could have written a check for all approximate 225 million Americans who were 18 or older at that time in our country's history, a check for $10,000. And that would have been the cost, that's the price we spent on the Afghan war. Okay? Everybody who was 18 and over in 2001 could have gotten a check for $10,000. What do you think that would have done to the economy? Yeah. Vertus. Amorous, probably not. Although many of the gun guys would have bought more guns and ammunition. So, I mean, at least a portion of it still would have, frankly. Yeah, Cassidy. I would have been 18 as well. It would have been... It could have done some stuff. It could have done some stuff. For sure. Probably nonsense. Probably, actually. Maybe even more. Let's see. Three senators tested positive for COVID too, by the way. Wicker out of Mississippi, Hickenlooper out of Colorado, and King out of Maine. India won't fall. Gothic. Pakistan, I can't say anything about. But India won't fall. To the Taliban? No. India won't fall to Pakistan, let alone the Taliban. India would go full-on Hindu nationalist on their ass. There are Hindu nationalists in charge of a nuclear power right next door. India would go full-on purge on their asses. And I gotta tell you, there's a good portion of the world that would probably just be like, what's that over there? Yes, they do. And I know. And India's been looking for a reason to use their nukes on Pakistan for a while. If you go back in the history of the channel and go back all the way to the Podbean days, you will find that my greatest concern for nuclear war has always been India and Pakistan. So, let's do it. Fuck it. It's not for us to decide at this point. Haven't you seen what happens when the U.S. gets involved? We're just along for the ride on this one, guys. Honestly, fuck off. Stop screwing with it. All we can do is make it worse. That's all we can do. We're going to make it worse. So, just hands off. Let the region decide the region's fate. Let the state actors and the people of those states decide. Because if we get involved, you very likely will have nuclear war. Yeah. Yeah, it's we don't do the right thing. That's not what we do. So if you're counting on the US to do the right thing, then no. Are we for or against Trump? I don't know. Do you think the anarchists are for or against Trump? ScoMo. Just, you know, I'm gonna trust you to be a big an adult and figure that one out for yourself. Raphael, they have never once done anything useful. Honestly, those peacekeepers are fucking useless. Yeah, it's a joke of an organization. They have no teeth. They have no teeth. They have no action. The countries who set up the UN didn't want the UN to be able to be used against them. So there's so many fucking loopholes and clauses that the UN is functionally useless. They have no ability to enforce anything. So, fuck them. They're useless too. Yeah. Oh, so we have officially the who's in charge of that the Bureau of Reclamation, who's a sub-department of the Department of Interior, has officially declared a water shortage for the Colorado River in the lower basin. So starting like now, actually no, I think it might be next year. Either way, Arizona, New Mexico, Arizona and New Mexico are going to see water usage reductions. Nevada's going to see a small one, but it barely affects us. If they move it to the high basin, then Colorado and California become affected as well. Basically, though, this affects farmers more than anybody else. Yeah. So, good luck. Scott, yeah, it's great when you have to reach for one and you're like, it wasn't really them, it was us, right? They're useless. You know it, I know it, we all know it. Yeah. So the declaration stands for 24 months. From the point of issuance, it strings for 24 months, and then it's up for possible renewal. Also, the high basin water shortage declaration at the federal level is a separate entity unto itself. It could be declared at any time as well. The Lake Mead, the water behind Hoover Dam, is at 34% capacity at present, and it hasn't been back to 100% since 2000. So, yeah. Oh, boo-boo, Pookie, sweetheart, do you think I give two shits about what you have to say? I love this. Everybody, from the account that was created, let's see, August 9th of this year. Good luck on that one. One message on channel. Hey, Probably Radical, why is you hat on backwards? It makes you look stupid. Great grammar and punctuation on that, by the way, especially when criticizing somebody's intelligence. That's a good look. Either way, because I want it to be. Here, is this? Hang on. Is this better for you? Ooh, wait. Hold on, everybody. Amorous, I can't do it because of my ankle. So is this better for you? You prefer this than the hat? Oh, Pookie. Boo-boo, sweetheart. Your opinion doesn't matter. You're the beta here. I'm in charge. You're the one running with a parasocial relationship. Literally, I'm the one you're here to see. Right? Like, I'm the alpha in this relationship. That's the adorable part. Is the cute little Twinkie gay dude with the painted pink fingernails and the cat ears right now is doming you. And you really enjoy it because you're here for it. Oh, Pookie, I'm not mad. I'm amused. This isn't mad. It's a little bit of sympathy, a little bit of pity, but mostly just amusement. Because you don't even know. It's adorable. Amorous, thank you for that resub. 8 months. Look at you. Fucking A, Amorous. Show, what else we got? Turner v. Driver. I don't know if Scott knows case law and stuff like that. Turner v. Driver. He's the one, he's the dude who audited a Texas police department, Scott. And this is the Supreme Court decision that case law codified that, yes, in fact, you have the right to record police department, police activity, and police property, basically unequivocally, under the First Amendment. Turner just had his shit stolen by another police department. A police department told him it was illegal to record their station, and they attempted to confiscate his fucking camera. The guy whose name is on the Supreme Court case that says explicitly you are allowed to record the police department had another Texas police department try and take his shit. Yeah. It wasn't a scene. It wasn't a scene. He was recording the police department. The building itself, Scott. Yep. And he was doing it from public access ways. They're fucked. He's already got an attorney in his pocket that has done oral arguments before the Supreme Court. Do you know how rare oral arguments are before the Supreme Court? His attorney for Turner v. Driver did oral arguments before the Supreme Court for that case, right? His attorney for this case is going to, like, dick slap these fuckers back into where they need to be. Yeah, it's... Yeah, it's absolutely astounding. I laughed my ass off watching the video. I was like, dude, this is the guy that the case law is named after. And they're telling him in the video that, like, it's, you know, oh, it's, you can't do this fucking, you know, it's against ordinances, and good luck with this one. They thought they turned off his stream. They didn't. He flipped the camera. Like, he literally, like, spun his, like, stream camera around really quickly so it was recording everything they were doing. And they thought they turned everything off. They didn't. It recorded everything, including the discussion between the cops. They're fucked. They're fucked. Yeah. Oh, was Pookie still going? Oh, Pookie. I don't care if you're offended. Grow up, Snowflake. Anyway. It's you, Joy. I don't mind the Second Amendment stuff. I mean, hardcore leftists don't mind the Second Amendment stuff, like Scott. Yeah, we like that too. Kotoshiko, all caps are bad. Let's see. Oh, what was it? The Alaskan North Slope oil project got shit canned. A federal judge yesterday threw out the Trump administration approval for the North Slope oil project. It was going to be ConocoPhillips Willow project in the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. The Trump administration had approved it in 2020. And then the Biden administration defended the project in court. The federal judge yesterday fucking tossed the decision. He's like, no. So, whoopsie. Yeah, that's the tolerance paradox, which I'm of the position I prefer to have the Nazis out front talking their shit. All you're going to do is drive them underground. If you criminalize like Germany does and say like, you know, if you say the word Nazi, it's now illegal, that sort of thing, right? All you do is drive them underground. And I think Sunshine is the best disinfectant. I want to know who these people are. I want them to be out speaking freely so we can readily identify them, so we can notice trends in the culture, in the populace, these sorts of things. I'm more in that territory and position. Pluto Twink. Nice name. Oh, you've been sub here before. Did you have a previous name? Because I swear I would remember that name, but... Oh, yeah, because you've been active here. Either way, sorry for not remembering you. Oh! Hey, Tony. Yeah. Yeah. All right, then. That name I remember. No, nonsense. I did not. Did music ever influence your political decisions like hardcore punk music or punk music in general? Gothic? Oh, I don't feel like doing the full fucking spiel right now, but yes, to some extent or another. Actually, Guthrie, Arlo, and Woody probably would have been the primary driving influence because my mom had me listening to the Guthries when I was like 4. I remember singing along to Alice's Restaurant in the car. Go back and look at the lyrics of Alice's Restaurant if you're not familiar. Beyond that, yeah, I was in the rave scene and I was in the punk scene both. So both of them had an influence upon me. Greater than that, though, would have been IT in general. Just having access to various technologies and capabilities and information sets sort of freed my mind, shall we say. We'll crib notes it at that. Oh God, is this person still here? I can't believe they're still here. I love my hate watchers. I love my hate watchers. They're my favorite people. Rita. Cupcake. Oh. You know what? Let's do them both. Oh, Fructose. God, I miss Killer Instinct. Combo. Fuck, that was the game, man. That was the game. Thank you, Skeptic. Kodashiku, thank you for the sub. Apparently I earned it. Okay, so my ankle is fucked, but we have to do this, y'all. We have to do this. So I'm going to do one of these. All right, I might end up doing more than one, but I'm doing one of these. Just, you know I can't resist. You know I can't resist. Oh, Caboose, it's taped up pretty well. Like, I'm not even, I wasn't even gonna put weight on it, really. ScoMo, what do I think? Please. And Kodashiko, thank you again. Kodashiku, sorry. What do I think, ScoMo? I love it. Bro, there's like a handful of radical right KKK. Neo-Nazis, that's it. The rest of us aren't the way you think we are. Please inform me what I think. Anarcho Catboy twirls in spite of sprained ankle. Oh, God. I'm bloated in that. You can tell. Too much fruit. I love it. Every time you swirl that skirt, the chuddies fall out of the sky. Oh, Mena. Haven't you noticed yet, Pookie? Nothing you say matters to me. Like, literally nothing you have said has affected, like, it hasn't actually changed my behavior. You're like, oh, stop wearing your hat backwards. It offends me. Hat's on backwards, right? Like, you have no bearing. It's adorable that you think you do, though. All right, let's see. Where did this happen? I need more on this.
Good evening, everyone. More than 24 criminal cases in one Tennessee county suddenly dropped.
Okay, so like 24, 25, 26 cases. Oh, 25 criminal cases had to be dropped by a DA in White County, Tennessee, because, quote, the prosecutor lost confidence in an arresting officer. Basically, this cop has been caught fucking around so many times that the prosecutor basically was like, we can't put him on the stand. Like, we can't put this dude on the stand. His testimony is absolutely useless to us. We'll get crucified on cross. So they dropped the cases. 25 criminal cases. Oh, I love that. Menalucky, I just come to say hi. I didn't mean to upset people. The first words out of your mouth were an insult, Mena. The first words out of your mouth was a fucking insult. I just came to say hi and then insult you again. And then for a third time by the third comment. And then a fourth insult by the fourth comment. But I just wanted to say hi. You never even said hi. Pookie, don't try bad faith shit with me. You're punching way above your weight class, boo boo. Like, I'm not even trying right now. And I'm making you look like a fool. I mean, you're doing most of the heavy lifting for me, admittedly. So anyway, yeah. All right, so what do we got from ScoMo? Because ScoMo actually seems to be like interacting on some level of good faith, and they're more deserving of attention than whatever Pookie is. So I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not happy of everything he's done. At this time, I think he would have handled the times better. Bro, so what would Trump have done differently? First, I have to ask, ScoMo, that handled the times better, right? That's very vague for me. I would love you to like give me something more tangible to work with there. But once you give me the more tangible, how would he have handled that better? That would be great. Thank you, boss. Praise Machna. Hail Breen. Yeah, Skeptic. Meta. Oh, you're adorable. Oh, you're adorable, Meta. Do you think negging me is gonna get me in the sack? Is that are you one of those pickup artist types, Meta? That you're like, oh fucking, I'll tell him he looks stupid, and then he'll sleep with me. I mean, you tell me I got a purty smile, which usually indicates you want to put something in that smile. But I mean, I'm not really Breen for president. I'm not really taken, you know, I mean. Prime Friedman, thank you for the follow. Yeah, it's definitely you know. Skeptic, we parted ways due to me having sexual needs that he was not comfortable fulfilling. I'm okay. Honestly, I'm just perfectly fine with that. I've seen enough come and go at this point that, you know, it helps to be aromantic. Karina. Just saw your DM, Karina. ScoMo, it is an option. It is an option. What Karina just said to you. Do you think that Trump would have done that, though? I mean, it's his plan we're following. It's his agreement that we're following. I don't know. See, I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not Nostradamus. I don't pretend to know what goes on in the head of a madman. But given Trump's pathological narcissistic tendencies, I think he would have done whatever he wanted to do for sure. I just don't know if that would be what you have outlined. I don't pretend for a moment to be able to predict what Donald Trump would have done in this situation. That seems to be the limb you're willing to go out on. It's okay, Karina. Prime Friedman, probably not in any places that you're actively looking, but if you want to find active anarchists in your locale, look up Food Not Bombs, which is an anarchistically organized charity organization that feeds the hungry on a global scale. And there you will find other anarchists, and you can talk to them and see what organizing activities they do in your area. So there you go. It's a little tip just for you. Skoma, oh, no, I don't disagree. I think that it could have been optimized. Let's just put it that way. It definitely could have been optimized. But it could have been optimized for the last 2 decades, right? It was a fucking gaping, sucking chest wound at this point. And somebody had to rip the Band-Aid off. We could have sutured some shit for sure, though. Yeah, the translators. See, this is my issue. Okay, so I've got 2 people with like 2 simultaneous conversations. Prime Friedman and ScoMo. I ask you both to be patient with me. I'm not ignoring either of you, but I'm going to have to toggle back and forth between the 2 of you. 1 of me, 2 of you. Okay? So bear with me as I swap back and forth. ScoMo, I do agree that we probably, assets, translators, allies, anybody who isn't a fucking raging sociopath, destroy the munitions, destroy the weapon systems, or let the soldiers take their, service rifles home like we did in World War II. All of those are options that I would have put on the table, for sure. Yeah, I think those are fair criticisms of how this has been handled thus far. I think going out on the limb and saying that Trump would have done it differently, that's where I would have a point of contention with you. Because pretending like you know what the fuck Trump would do, come on. All right. All right, let me scroll back. Friedman, here's my answer to you. Scott, you need nuance in that statement, because the fact of the matter is that Prime Friedman's fucking version of capitalism is not your version of capitalism, and you know it. That was a fucking sneaky ass answer, and I'm calling you out directly on it. I'm straight calling you out on that, Scott, because if Friedman puts up their version of like capitalism, you're going to have mad critique. Well, that's not actually capitalism. That's crony capitalism. That's the state controlling capitalism. That's the oligarchical class actually manipulating the system. These aren't free markets. This isn't laissez-faire. You will argue literally that isn't the version of capitalism that you're talking about. So that was a fucking sneaky ass move. Bullshit. That was bullshit, Scott. I don't care if it was fucking... All right. Friedman. I would put forth that that maybe capitalism isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But neither was feudalism for a while. Neither was constitutional monarchism, right? But they did. They went away, right? And it's difficult to see that moment when it starts to fade. But we do know that we're in need for a new ism. And while maybe anarchistically organized societies don't become the de facto organizational method in the future, maybe capitalism isn't fully replaced. Maybe. But what I can tell you with certainty, you know how we move forward? You know how we progress? It's by having conversations, by talking to each other. Oftentimes it used to happen in the salons of old, or the pubs, the town squares, meeting places, just such as this, where we can exchange ideas and we can trade good ones and we can challenge each other. And I would put forth that in that moment of feudalistic Europe, in that moment pre-plague, where everybody was beholden to a lord of the manor, where so many serfs were just fighting and scraping by for their existence. They could not see the catastrophic effects of the Black Plague. They wouldn't be able to predict a handful of years out that the labor shortages caused by the population collapse of that plague would spurn on evolutionary changes within their system and usher in a new era of labor relations on a global scale. But from a historical context, from our position looking back, we see it. We see it with clarity. I would argue that in this moment, predictions such as capitalism isn't going anywhere anytime soon may be short-sighted. Maybe it isn't. History will prove us out on that one. But what I can tell you for certain is that anarchism is a very effective system of organization. It's a very effective modality of operation. And history, multiple societies, and even theorists such as cybernetic theorists and information technologists get on board with this idea that these sort of decentralized or distributed network topologies are highly redundant and highly resilient. And these are the types of characteristics that we need in these systems moving forward into the future. So maybe it won't be the de facto, maybe it won't be the default, maybe it won't be the overall tone. But you know what? I'm going to get a seat at the table and I'm going to voice my opinion. I'm going to put forth my theories as backed up by many, many, many brilliant thinkers. I stand on the shoulder of giants, but I'm going to get my voice heard. So there you go. And welcome, by the way.
I'm losing my mind in a wave of you. Sweats me up like the ocean blue. Can't lie, gotta face the truth. I'm falling hard.
I know it was your opinion. I know it was your opinion. You literally put it in parentheses after all. I think the Marxian critiques of capitalism are correct. I think late stage capitalism, or capitalism as we see it iterated in the current iteration, be that crony, corporatistic, governmentally controlled capital, neoliberal, hyper-capitalism, whatever monikers, adjectives, prefixes, and suffixes you want to apply to capitalism as it stands in its current iteration, are beginning to show its weaknesses. The threads are fraying. And while not a Marxist, by no means Marx's critiques were accurate. His solutions were insane. His solutions as a centralizing communist proved to fail several times over. And as an anarchist, that makes my heart warm, because we had anarchists critiquing him even then. But it is time for a new ism. Before it's too late. So let's start the conversation. Oh God, is Mena still here? Genesis, welcome. And we run a fairly active Discord server. You're welcome. Exclamation Discord, or the link is down below. So for Friedman, for Genesis, not for Mena. But if you know, you're more than welcome. I'm on 5 days a week, by the way. I take days off randomly. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific U.S. time. Tuesday, Thursdays, 11:30 p.m. Pacific U.S. time. You're catching the Thursday 11:30 show. Just FYI. No. Friedman? No. this is part of the anarchist spiel. 50% of what anarchists do is education. It's what we do. We have the conversation. We educate. And so that is where it starts. It starts with a cultural reform. And I'm unabashedly, I'm a propagandist, right? Like, rather than being black blocked, I'm a dude with a backwards hat and pink fingernails, and I have I'm decent with my, my rhetorical devices are effective. I'm a propagandist for anarchists, right? You come in, you're like, hey, you know what? Fucking, I may not agree with him, but shit, he's a cool guy, and he makes some reasonable arguments, right? This is what I'm doing. I'm progressing the anarchist agenda just by doing this. Others in the milieu do it differently. But you'll leave here with at least one touchstone, one position, one perspective of, you know what, they're not all bad. My job is done at that point, because you could come back and you could have the conversation, and you might be curious next time. You might ask me for reading recommendations. You might ask me more opinions. You might ask me more theory. We're exchanging ideas at that point. You might take some of them. You might hang on to some of yours, but you might be like, you know what? The organizing modality that they use, it is resilient. We should use that. Who knows? Right? This is what it's about. It's about the dialectic. It's about utilizing rhetorical device and engaging in this exchange of ideas. So, welcome. Is there any media outlets propagandizing this anarchy? Okay, so first, Friedman, I'll give you, don't worry, I'll finish that, but I'll give you the quick. Anarchy is generally referred to as the non-theorized, non-academic, non-formalized activity. Indigenous societies often used anarchy. They organized themselves under anarchy, right? It's not chaos. It doesn't mean lack of rules. It just means literally anarchos without leader, right? Anarchists and anarchism is the formalized theory, and anarchists are the ones who formalize that theory and then practice or preach or engage thereof, right? So, and where would it leave the common man, woman in society as far as economics once anarchy becomes victorious? So it would be anarchism, not anarchy. It would be anarchism, just FYI. Yes, Genesis, you are correct. Why would I sell a book, Mena? I would give it away. All of my content, Mena, is licensed under Creative Commons. I give all of my stuff away. I walk my walk. I'm not just talk. All of my photography, my writings, my streams, any of my audio recordings are all licensed under Creative Commons, share alike, non-commercial. So why would I sell a book? But yes, Genesis, you are correct. For highly reductive, but yes, in essence. As for Friedman, back to you again, where would it leave the common man, woman in society as far as economics once anarchism becomes victorious? Here's the first thing that you need to grasp, Friedman. I'm an anarchist. I'm not an ANCOM. I'm not an ANSOC. I'm not an ANSYN. I'm not an ANPRIM. I'm not an anarcho-communitarian, right? When you see something, anarcho-communist, anarcho-socialist, anarcho-primitivist, anarcho-syndicalist, anarcho-communitarian, right? These are people advocating for a different something, right? But they're being organized anarchistically. So ANCOMs are advocating for communism, but communism that is organized anarchistically rather than centralizing communists such as Marxists or vanguardists such as Trotsky, right? This is these are not, and Friedman, they're not categories. These aren't categories of anarchism. These are modalities of operation that are then being operated or organized anarchistically. Anarchism is the organizational methodology. It's the collapsing down of hierarchical power structures into a heterarchy or horizontal organizational structure. It's the philosophical challenging of power and authority mechanisms or unjust power and authority mechanisms and the replacement of them wherever they may lie. Anarchism is a network of ideas. It's not a singular philosophy. It's not a monolith. And in the words of Emma Goldman, we much prefer it that way. Right? So when you see those and-somethings, these are syndicalists that organize themselves anarchistically. So when you ask when anarchism becomes victorious, anarchists say there is no project of projects. Once you as an individual realize that you have individual autonomy and you begin to operate and organize utilizing free association mechanisms that anarchists advocate for, right? Once you start those affinity groups, what you do in that affinity group is up to y'all. There is no project of projects for anarchists. Once I teach you how to be an anarchist, my job is done, because anarchism isn't prefigurative. It relies on you to be an active participant. You follow? And Genesis, you were following just fine. Genesis, you're getting it. True Toy, ideally, yes. Ideally, yes. For the most part, Friedman, yeah. It's about how you interact. Friedman, what's your... I mean, clearly you're new to anarchism, but what's your level of experience with philosophy? Have you ever read any Michel Foucault? ScoMo, thank you for the follow. Because if you haven't, I would almost recommend reading, like, based off of our conversation thus far, I'd recommend you read some Foucault. I'm a fool, I know nothing. You're a wise man then, because you know nothing. Fools think they know everything. Like active listening to other perspectives. Fair enough. I would recommend you read some Foucault. F-O-U-C-A-L-T. Michel Foucault. C-A-U-L-T? Yeah. Sorry. French. What are you going to do? The important part that you really grasp about anarchism is it's about how you and I relate to each other. Anarchists are about consensual, free associated affinity groups. Right? Maybe your affinity group is the people in your neighborhood, your neighbors. Maybe your affinity group is fellow video game players. Maybe your affinity group is your workers at your shop. Maybe your affinity group is people who buy produce in your area. Right? All of these can potentiate affinity groups. But the free association, okay, that's important to anarchists because we don't believe in coercive systems such as capitalism, right? It forces you into those situations. If you don't have the job to pay the bills, you don't get the house, you don't get the food, right? That's coercion, baseline. So free associated affinity groups. Then you start the mutual aid. Then you start to organize. Then you start activities based off of that. Your neighbors, you come together. What would be, my name is Kai, by the way, Friedman. Kai. For ScoMo and Genesis and Friedman, my name's Kai. Nice to meet you. What would be my affinity group? I have many, because you don't have just one. The power dynamics of your life dictate that you're going to have multiple, sometimes overlapping, sometimes completely separate affinity groups. This community is one affinity group. You've just entered into a free associated relationship, parasocial relationship with me, right? And I'm engaged with you. We're now in an affinity group. I have other affinity groups, but this happens to be one. Yes. Oh God, is he doing the Jewish question thing? Okay. Oh God. They're always 3 questions away from it. Why do they need rewarded differently? Would be my immediate question to you. I would ask you, I would query you that. Why are the exceptionals' needs any different than the mundanes? Why are their wants any different than the mundanes? Why are the exceptional different? Do you believe in a meritocracy? Or do you believe in some level of universality to taking care of humankind? Well, Friedman, you have to allow me a little bit of Socratic method. You have to allow me a little bit of Socratic method. I understand that, Friedman. But does that make them any more or less of a human being? Does the productively mundane versus the productively exceptional, are they not equivalent? Are they not the same worthy human being? Should the system not take care of their wants and needs? I'm not saying they should both get the exact same thing, because their wants and needs are different. And that's what equity is about. I'm calling for both equality and equity under an anarchistically organized system. Because remember, anarchists take it into account that you are an individual, but also a member of a social group. So your wants and your needs should be addressed as a member of the social group, but also as an individual. The balance is in that statement I just made, Friedman. Recognizing that you are both a member of the social group, but also an individual, and that your wants and your needs are your own, but there may be overlap. Those that can be taken care of by the social group as the social group should be addressed as such, and it makes it far easier. But the individual wants and needs should not be discarded. You are an individual after all, and anarchists recognize that. So if you have a passion for medicine, and that partnering with a doctor or a free clinic or sending you to some form of furthering your education as far as a doctoral position goes, then we should allocate that. We should take care of you in that. Not everybody wants to be a doctor, but you do. And we should further that goal for you because it benefits both you and us in society. And Fertus just got there. The painter has a need for paint. We provide paint. Just as I was using a doctor as an example. Yeah, you can jump on Discord if you want to talk, Friedman. If you prefer to have a vocalized exchange, then yeah, you can jump on Discord. You've proven that you were of good faith. I'll have a conversation with you. Yeah. No problem. Oh, I see you up there, Fertus. I just saw you. Well, Friedman, we'll see if we can't walk you through it. We got a few people that we can take care of you. Hey, Fertus. If Friedman manages to get deboomered and get on, I'll probably just do it solo, so he doesn't feel like there's multiple people hitting him from multiple angles.
So.
Oh, hey, give me one. Friedman, you get to Discord and you get on a voice channel. The rest is up to me. Don't worry about it. We just need to get you connected to Discord. Anyway, sorry Fertus. Continue.
Oh yeah, certainly. I wanted to suggest. I've been toying with a model to transition toward more democratic, if not anarchistic, society, basically. And the thing that liberals harp on is the question of investment, right? If you don't invest in society, you cannot build structures, companies, and so on and so forth, right? So, what would you feel about generalizing the Kickstarter method? So basically, instead of having money coming from upstream, so capitalists, you query your community for resources to build, companies, businesses, and so on, and try and stimulate the economy that way.
I think there's moderate limitations that must be addressed given the capitalist restrictions that we live under. There's going to be communities that are already marginalized and suffering that are going to struggle to do that, but external influxes of capital resource could be arranged from other groups that are more resource rich in certain areas. So, basic networking or cybernetic theory would come into play in that instance. But I also think that there's merit to what you're suggesting because we know organizational modalities from ground up, bottom up rather than top down, tend to be more resilient in that regard, and they tend to address the needs of the people involved in them more readily. So yeah, it follows basic mutual aid and dual power structure praxis already. So, yeah. It'd be interesting to be able to set up a Kickstarter-like system that's, oh God, I'm going to use a word here, and it's a loaded word, that's segregated. Being able to categorize or regionalize the activities so there is no so you can transfer resources probably between them, but specifically so you can have those localities setting up their own thing. So rather than Kickstarter for individual projects, more I'm thinking slush funds for affinity groups. then you could use that resource more democratically at the local level, because you could arrange the funds for the locality, but then you could also, that group would then be able to determine what those funds get used for based off of consensus decision making, democrat, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's definitely an idea worth exploring, and it has merit for sure.
Yeah, I would think so. Like, given that it has helped, getting tech companies, game companies, and some other types of companies off the ground. So I think it has a lot of merits, but I don't know if we can do that for some businesses that don't pertain to the entertainment category. Like, what would that look like? For instance, let's be idiots and say what does it look like for a bakery, for instance?
Okay, so we need to do a little tech support here. Friedman, are you on a phone? You're on Discord on your phone. Swipe to the right of your screen, and it should pull the screen over. And on the left, you should see channels. Scroll up. Oh, you're on a laptop? Okay, well then you should see channels to your left on the screen. And if you scroll up, you should see a section called voice channels. And under that, you should see on air and voice chat. Go to voice chat. And please make sure you have headphones, like a mic and headphones. Okay. Give me a few minutes to finish up with Fertus, and then I will bring you to on air, and you and I can have a conversation. All right. Anyway, where were you in that thought, Fertus? Sorry about that.
So I was thinking, what would that look like for a brick and mortar retail store, such as, and workshops, such as, for instance, bakery, like we like that bread. So people in the community who invest in that space, would that mean that they would get like free bread for a certain length of time? Assuming, for instance, that people who did not invest would also come to the store, buy some bread, and that would allow for influx of income. And so.
If I had to put forth a proposition, if we were in a meeting, and brainstorming, I would say we treat it something like a co-op membership, that maybe it grants you a discount rather than free bread, right? That way there's incentivizing participation. It allows you sense of ownership, but it also doesn't treat it as in-group, out-group quite as much.
That's fair. So maybe instead of having free stuff, maybe just a discount or some say in what is produced. Like, for instance, like you release croissants, so there's going to be a vote as to between the shareholders as to what is produced.
Yeah, exactly. You're a member of the cooperative. You have a say in what the cooperative does. There's perks.
Oh, that makes total sense. And by the way, I've heard that there were cooperative stores that basically people group together to purchase in bulk and buy commodities that they need. I think we should do more of that at a local level. Like
we've got Winco Foods here in this part of the world, and in Vegas, which is a giant cooperative. They're worker owned. Yeah, like it's a thing. I 100% agree. We need more of them. But yeah. Cool. I'm gonna You mind?
No problem. Like, it's your show.
But I like you.
Well, thanks for indulging me. Thanks for having me, and I hope everyone is in a safe place, taking care of themselves. Hydrate yourself, stretch, and have a good rest of your day, night, and so on. Take care, everyone.
Fortus. Love you, man. Take care of yourself.
Love you, Kai.
Friedman.
Yeah.
All right. Just count to 5 for me, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you kindly. Just got to get your volume levels set.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, I'm gonna need you to turn off Twitch or mute Twitch. Just mute Twitch for me. Hey, Sunshine. That way it doesn't repeat on you. Oh Jesus, is Mena still going? Holy shit. Some children.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nice. Appreciate you for allowing me on your platform. It was a struggle finally finding some platforms of substance on here, and
Thank you kindly.
thank you for engaging me so thoroughly.
These days I have a very broken body. So I can't quite do the forms of activism I used to do. Let's just put it that way.
Wow. Okay.
So you got any questions? You got any points? You got any shit you want to say at me?
I guess I'll start off with saying maybe that's why we guess you called it like an affinity or something, because I'm an activist myself. So you said you haven't done some activism in some time, so maybe that was where our two affinities aligned, at least on the initial part.
I was the stuff I can talk about. I was an Occupy organizer back in the day. I organized Las Vegas Occupy to a certain extent or another, shall we say. And then there was various anarchistic direct actions that we won't talk that much about.
Of course not.
But these days, as I said, I'm an educator and admittedly a propagandist.
Nice.
So this is, I'm a community organizer. It's what I do. I build a community. And hopefully in that community, people who are similarly minded can exchange ideas and maybe we can move the ball a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I would agree.
Swede,
From
take
these
care of
thoughts
yourself.
with
I'm just, it's a juggling act. Occasionally I'm going to say something apropos of nothing. It's me addressing chat. That's all. It's weird doing this shit sometimes.
It's all good, man. This is your world, your platform, and do your thing. But I was just saying that we gotta play the game. I understand, you're saying you're a propagandist, and I appreciate you telling me your activism works, things that you could speak about, because I can only imagine just off of the conversations we had, things that, like, what did you do about, like, what the things you couldn't speak about. So it was very good. I like this. This is good. I'm just here for a discussion.
Can't really speak about those.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I've been an anarchist for basically, my entire life. I do ascribe to a style of anarchism called post-anarchism, which basically maintains that you're already an anarchist, you just don't know it.
Okay.
And so it's sort of like you get brainwashed with a whole bunch of shit, right? Neoliberal capitalism and authoritarian systems. But if you look at like a small group of children, by and large, they actually operate fairly. And they have a tendency to help one another. They have a tendency to, yeah. I worked for the Boys and Girls Clubs. Like, that was my very first job. I was a regional director of technology for the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Nice.
So, I've seen 6 years up to 18 up close and personal in large groups. They do have a certain affinity, and but beyond that, I've always been ancillarily located in and around anarchists to one extent or another, and I was exposed to sort of like, you could call it revolutionary styles of thinking, like Guthrie, like Alice's Restaurant sort of stuff from age 4 moving forward, right? Like, I was sort of destined one way or the other to be engaged politically in some of these spheres. I've been an anarchist activist to one extent or another for 24, 25 years now, and I've been a theory head. I'm almost 40.
You don't look old.
I'm almost 40.
You look good for your age.
Thank you. And I've been a theory head for a little bit now. Coming into the late 20s, I was like, you know what? I need to be able to argue this shit effectively. So let's learn it. And, spent a few years. Got a decent library. And, fast forward a few years, and here I am doing this now. So
it's so interesting how you brought up like the neoliberal capitalism and everything. Like, I was watching a channel prior to yours, and this guy kept using the same term, and I was getting so triggered. I was like, because from my perspective, I'm a black man. I live here in America, in New York City.
I was about to ask. I'm from Vermont originally, so I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've spent a fair amount of time in that part of the world. Let's just that way. I was gonna ask.
Okay. Home of that Bernie.
Yeah,
that Bernie Sanders?
Well, not originally,
Okay.
but we adopted him.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So y'all got him. Home of Bernie. So when he was speaking about neoliberal capitalism, I guess I could say it was kind of triggering me, but it's just from my perspective, my personal perspective.
In what way? In what manner was it bothering you?
But when I think about that term, I think of, I guess, the democratic leaning side. And from my perspective, that left wing is just the left wing, and the Republicans is the right wing, and they both form two wings for the bird of white supremacy. So
here would be my counter.
all right.
Are you familiar with the Overton window?
No.
The Overton.
I don't know anything.
Okay. Well, hey, that's like I said. That actually, dude, knowing that you lack knowledge is a sign of wisdom. Trust me on that one. In the world filled with fucking, like, I did my research. Yeah, sure you did. Trust me. Like, I value that. Hearing somebody just say, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, that's a truth, right? I appreciate that. The Overton window is basically this concept that it has to do with societal normalization of things. And it basically what we're talking about as far as political spectrum goes is if we shift the Overton window to the right, yeah, exactly, Scott, exactly. If we shift the Overton window to the right by normalizing right-wing philosophy, tendencies, behaviors, politics, policies, all of these sorts of things, right? Republicans rise to power, Nixon, Reagan, these sorts of things, the 1950s, white supremacy, like, I have the origins of and problems with modern policing. I've done my fair share on this shit is basically the way it was designed. Don't think it's broken.
Of course, absolutely.
So if that window is shifted to the right, then the perspective of what is left and right is perverted. What becomes the left isn't actually the left, but can be center right or right. Because that normalized window of your society is peering out from way off to the right. So if you're 3 miles off of the center to the right and you look out left and you're like, oh, those are the left wingers, you're still fucking 2.5 miles to the right of center. And so that's what I'm referencing with the Overton window is that, yeah, the Democrats aren't left wing. Politically speaking, from the position of a political scientist, they're not actually left wing. They don't hold the concepts, they don't hold the tenets, they don't hold the policies, they don't ascribe to any of the philosophical ideals that a political scientist would say this is the left wing, traditionally speaking. And so what you're looking at with Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, take your fucking pick, it doesn't matter.
Oh Lord, right?
Is a bunch of right-wing corporatists. And so it's a false dichotomy.
Gotta take them to church on your show today. You gotta take them to church.
In the US, we have a pseudo left. It's not the actual left. The left isn't represented in the United States of America. That's not a thing we have by and large. And so, especially within governance itself, right? Like maybe in the populace, within the milieu, within the community, right? We have some leftists, right? I'm a leftist, like true and proper, but I'm not represented. Like that's not a thing that's happening, right? Okay. And so that would be my counter argument to or at least my nuanced addition to your statement is that those Democrats aren't actually left wing to start with. So fuck them.
I think we already have a meeting of the minds on that because essentially what you're saying is they're not even on the left. They're really racist as well, and they're just on the right side or what have you, if I'm understanding you correctly. And I guess that was basically what I was saying. They was no different than the right initially.
I would
as far as when it comes to black people.
Yeah, it's fucking I'd add tons of fucking nuance and couch it and be like, there's differences X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day,
exactly,
for all intents and purposes.
Exactly. And if we're familiar with history, we will understand there were people who look like me who did create the Constitution, because the Constitution does say we the people, we the white people.
Yeah, I was just saying, like that's one of our channel, like
well, people won't believe that, that's like too quote unquote radical.
One of our channel,
if we are familiar with history, like I'm sure maybe you or other people would be aware of that fact.
Well, I mean that's.
I still know nothing. I'm just guessing at this point.
I don't know it's anything. We the people means rich land owning white men, heterosexual white men. Though some of them were in the closet, I might add.
Okay.
But everybody knows that shtick. Like y'all, like indigenous people weren't people. Y'all were 3/5 of people. Women didn't even count. Right? Like, and God help.
I would rebut with the 3/5 compromise. I think like a lot of people to interpret it was doesn't say we were 3/5 of a person. It's really aligned with more so population and location.
Well, I mean, as far as they're concerned, your voting rights and your activity within the political system is what makes you a person.
Right.
You are a legal construct in this nation. You aren't a person.
Right.
Well,
you are a person when they want to tally up the votes to increase their political power
or
representation,
or when they wish to remove your autonomy and throw you in a cage.
Right. So I guess it's all about the interpretation and who's practicing it as far as the reality on the ground, because we have plenty of examples of when we were citizens and citizens don't stand trial. Well, citizens do stand trial. What is that called? If we weren't considered citizens, I guess we would be burdens of beast, or I forgot the exact term.
Beast of burden.
Beast of burden and everything else. But let me not get too philosophical. This is your broadcast, and I don't know anything. I'm just still guessing at this point.
the one thing I can say as an anarchist that I'm proud of my community, right? There's very few things that anarchists like that various groups be like, right? But as far as the historical record goes, if you're talking like 1900 forward, right? Indigenous communities got to fight, anarchists are right there. Women's suffrage, anarchists are right there. Black civil rights, anarchists are right there. Two of the fucking founding Black Panthers end up being anarchists, right? Like when it comes to oppression, anarchists are automatic allies.
It's like guaranteed, right?
Yeah, we're there. We're right there beside you automatically every time. Like that's because that's our thing. We don't give a shit whether we're talking China, whether we're talking women, whether we're talking gay. We don't give a shit. Your national boundaries are bullshit to us anyway, and all of that other stuff is made up social construct as far as we're concerned. All we care about is that there is a system of oppression oppressing you, and we want it to knock it the fuck off.
Okay.
That's like a core tentpole to being an anarchist, is being able to use that lens of analysis on the world and being able to step back and go, okay, what is coercive? What is oppressive? What is actually authoritarian? And what can we do to fix it?
Right. I think by the definition of oppression and just injustice, a lot of things would fall under authoritarian. I think even with nowadays, like the whole political discussion now is, well, at least a lot of it is these mandates on the vaccine. In my opinion, that is most definitely authoritarian, and
we would argue education and social responsibility for that aspect, but there's no chance you're going to catch an anarchist going door to door putting it in your arm. Like,
I believe in free will.
May I Kvass, I know this is just, may I give you a reading assignment?
Sure, hold on, let me
it's going to be in chat in a second. Somebody put the tent poles in chat, please. It's
got a great team. They move pretty quick.
It's an essay. And so
Give me a second. Let me get my phone so I can write it in my notes.
Thank you, Rev. The link is in chat right now. It's an essay I wrote a while back. All it has to do...
Oh, this is your work.
Yeah.
Very nice. Nice.
It's the three tent poles of American, but of oppression, right? And it's not... Ego aside, it has been taught... It has been used in at least one school in another country, right? Okay. So they're, it's useful. It's a useful piece of reading. And you'll probably read it and you'll be like, yeah, it should be obvious as you read it, but it formalizes, it gives language to those thoughts. And I think it's super useful for people who are dealing with oppressive systems. This is how they're fucking you.
Okay, well, as a person who's like experiencing it, not just on an individual level and systematic, supremacist, racist group level, I think I have firsthand knowledge and actual experience, but I will open-minded, and I will definitely look into your assessment as well.
I guarantee you'll finish it and be like, yeah, that pretty much lines up.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
What? I thought
you'll hit the end and you'll be like, yeah, that's what they did to me. Yeah.
I thought one of the only things you can guarantee was death, but I hear you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
I've been around, I've been paying attention, I lived in the South, I fucking dated plenty of black dudes, I've been around long enough to know how the fucking game works.
Okay.
And yeah.
You and your partners, like, did y'all ever have a meeting of the minds, like a full meeting of the minds? Like, you could never understand or like fully empathize due to
I know this is a contentious
benefiting it, but I was wondering if you could did you
I know-
stand with them? That's what I mean.
Oh
if that
yeah,
makes
I
sense.
mean, yes. And that's the thing is, I know this is a contentious point within the Black community, and I know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know that a lot of people on both sides of the aisle get really fucking annoyed when this comes up. But the truth of the matter is that as a gay man, I've experienced some craziness from the religious right, from the powers that be. Like, we got genocided by the fucking Reagan administration as a virus swept through our community, and the government was like, yeah, you know what? You can just die for a while. Good luck with that. It is in no way, shape, or form, the scope and scale to which the Black community has experienced on a global scale. I fully can, surrender that point every time, but I've gotten a taste of it. And I know what it feels like to have that boot on my fucking neck when it counts. And, I've dated Black men a fair amount of, a few here.
Okay.
I'm not, it's like, hey, and you have those conversations about the talk. That's always an interesting conversation.
The talk.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That, white people get the talk and it's about sex. Black people get the talk and it's about how you may end up dead because you fucked around.
Right.
Right? Like, yeah. Like, I've been in the streets. I've fucking been, yeah. I feel you.
Okay. Well, I can appreciate that. It seems like we have an understanding on that aspect. I might see it still a little bit differently because LGBT community.
I
It's
I hope you do, because you're an
I don't
individual.
want to say, yeah, right. I don't want to be disrespectful, but it's like a sexual preference as in comparison to racism is more so the social construct. Even though it's fake, it's kind of real as far as practicality.
Here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? So
I knew I was gay when I was fucking chasing boys around the schoolyard in elementary school.
okay.
Ain't nothing preferential about it. This is the way
like what you
it's
like.
always been.
Okay.
So, yeah, as far as like a fucking racist Southern Klan member, he hates us both, man. And as far as I'm concerned, let's just try not to get got by the dude in the Klan outfit. I got your back, you get mine. It's that simple.
Okay. Fair enough. I like having these conversations, and I hear a lot of people who I say this respectfully, I'm not putting this on you, but I hear a lot of people who talk a good game, but at least when it comes to the wealth and the economic aspect of it, it's always easier to integrate Black people into a restaurant, but as far as the ownership and the control of that restaurant, that's when you get the quote-unquote allies saying, I don't know, I want you to integrate into the wealth. That makes sense. So.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's the capital.
I can't hear you.
Oh no,
Still
no,
there?
no.
Oh, okay, I hear you.
I was just taking a moment to gather those thoughts. The capital class, the truly wealthy, the old Chris Rock bit about we're not talking about rich, we're talking about wealth. Right? We're not talking about the basketball player, we're talking about the dude who signs the basketball player's check, right? You may have 600 million, he's got billions, right? We're talking a different category. Those fuckers hate poor white people just as much as they hate Black people. It seems like they don't give a shit. They're sociopaths. They're fucking psychopaths. They hate humanity. They're just monstrous. Not to be dehumanizing, but there seems to be some shit going on there in that psyche that you're like, y'all don't really give a fuck. That Bezos level of fucking wealth, they're like, yeah, we'll go to space and leave all y'all fuckers behind. We don't care.
Who knows what that world would look like. As far as the dehumanization, though, the chattel slavery was most definitely dehumanizing, and a lot of the poor white people benefited from said chattel slavery. So But I think you and I are pretty much we have I think we have an understanding.
I'm pointing to a thing on the screen right now. That poster is for Blair Mountain.
That's a
It's difficult to read because it's not focused, but
Yeah.
basically that poster is about Blair Mountain. If you want to look into the first time the system of governance and control on this little fucking rock we call North America went full blown, let's firebomb the proletariat. There's a bunch of broke ass miners in West Virginia that decided that, hey, we don't want to be treated like fucking indentured servants and we're going to organize. They firebombed their asses. That was the government doing that to them, right? All the way up until into the MOVE organization in Philadelphia. Fucking let's drop some C4 on their punk asses for trying to get out from under our thumbs, right? As far as I'm concerned, if you're oppressed, I'm on your side.
Got you. I like this is good, man. I really like it. I saw somebody. Is it? I don't know. I probably read kind of slow. Is it racist that I found blonde Germans unattractive? Matter of fact, maybe, I don't think I could read that, or maybe you should. Just saw my name, so that's why it caught my attention.
Is it racist that I find blonde Germans unattractive, but freckles redheads hot as hell? Is it racist I find Middle Eastern girls super hot? Black men are gorgeous, but black women often don't do it much for me. See, here's the thing, and this is my general
Being
rule.
facetious, obviously. But.
Well, it's my general rule. No one gets to tell anybody about their who they sleep with and who they're attracted to. As long as we've got consenting adults going on here, stay the fuck out of people's lives. Stay the fuck out of people's lives.
Right.
Like that ain't,
I agree.
That
I
ain't your
agree with that.
business.
Definitely, I agree with that most wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Infinity%.
Yeah, just mind your own fucking business, right? Good old New England, good old New England
they want
attitude.
other people to join in. So
You know, get a group thing going,
that's
right?
that's when you get the invite, and you can mind their business.
Hey, say good old New England attitude. Mind your own fucking business.
So you said that you was like you knew you like boys or guys when you was in elementary school.
There was never any confusion or doubt. I've known I liked boys from fucking day one.
Okay, because I guess in my opinion, which is also backed up by research or whatever. Do you think personally that you're born gay?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Let me ask you a
I
question.
see it differently, but
let me ask you a
willing to
question. Simple question. When did you choose to be straight?
do I choose? I can't really.
When did you choose to be straight?
I can't really say. It's been a long time. I
just sort of the way you
like
are,
you
right?
said, always knew. I don't.
Yeah. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, I don't know if I was a newborn baby and I was, if I was like,
that's the thing. At
want
no
that
point in
woman
your
right
life, you waking up in your bed in the morning, you're like, today we're gonna be straight, right? It's just the way you are.
Right. That's for me personally.
But that's the thing. Your lived personal experience is all you have. So all I can do is trust you as another human being that I respect and say, well, he's telling me his lived personal experience. Why would I doubt that?
Yeah, I'm not doubting it. I'm going off of some research, some data, because like my thing is anecdotal, and the data and information would be, I guess,
what you got.
Inclusive
this is the wrong community to do that in. We're going to ask you to cite your sources if you say something like that.
Okay, cool.
So feel free to drop them in chat. We'll fucking check them out.
Right.
But I can tell you, we've got a fair amount of PhDs in the community.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I just wanted to finish my point before I forget it. Damn, I think I might have forgotten it. But
was it matter?
To me, I don't want to say it matters or it doesn't matter, but I was just asking from your perspective, because you're a part of that community. No, and I'm not. So I was asking for understanding from your perspective, if that makes sense.
Very few people are actually confused about their sexuality. The ones who who actually have the confusion are usually due to societal influence. They grow up in a cisgendered heteronormative. I know this is fucking like SJW speak territory, right? But they grow up in a cisgendered heteronormative society where these are the normative values, but they fit outside of the normative values. Now, let me relate this to you being a black man, right? It's a white man's world, isn't it? Fucking, they're running this shit. They're fucking running this shit. And they make you marginalized. Everything, representation, right? Representation fucking matters, doesn't it? Because you grow up thinking, oh, I got bad hair, right? Like, oh, I want that good hair, right? Shit like that. It gets in your fucking head along the way, right? This is the same thing that happens to the LGBT community, right? If you got a bunch of fucking straight white dudes running around saying that this is how things are, and if you don't fit inside this window, then you are abnormal. You are marginalized as a result of that. And that gets in your fucking head. And you got dudes running out there like, well, that's what you do, right? Like you get married, you have 2 kids, you retire, and the next thing you know, their wife dies at the age of like 53 or something like that. And they're like, I can't live this way anymore. Right? I can't live this way anymore. I've been having these thoughts my entire fucking life, right? Like I have to live my truth finally, right? That's what we're dealing with here is like an LGBT
and you want representation in that. I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand that.
We got a bunch of people running shit and they say this is the way it is and it fucks with you. And it confuses people who don't have that experience. Because right, like the same conflict you have with like so-called white allies that have no lived experience as a black person, and they have no shared communal, like they didn't live in the South, they've never dated a black person, they didn't go to a school with all black people in it, like they have no touchstone, they have zero reference point for what the black community in America is actually contending with. The same exists for heterosexuals. You don't have that touchstone. You didn't grow up thinking like, oh, he's cute, right? You grow up thinking she's cute. Your normative value for your experience is that of a heterosexual. And the system aligns with it the same way that the system aligns with my lived experience as a white man. And so it fucks with both of us in very similar ways. The same way that white people don't get it when it comes to the lived black experience is the same way that heterosexuals don't get it when it comes to the lived LGBT experience.
I would say this though, in rebuttal, the LGBT community 2021 most definitely has power, influence, and
we fucking fought for it.
Right, and most certainly
it helped.
Hold on, let me finish. And most certainly representation. Go ahead.
Well, it helped that, I mean, we bootstrapped it to a bunch of fucking power lesbians and rich white gay dudes, right? We bootstrapped it to a power class, a capital class in this society. And that, I mean, we spent the late 80s and all of the 90s and the early 2000s doing exactly that. We're making the system work for us. Right. That's what we did. Is we fucking, if you've never read Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, read it. That's literally Obama and Hillary both credit Alinsky with being able to, like, this is how you manipulate the system. This is how you do it. Alinsky fucking laid down the rules. And
we'll also add in some assistance from even the black community.
And
most certainly.
So we have that representation. We have that power now. But, you know, in the late 80s, being a fucking, you know, an HIV positive fag was a death sentence. I mean, it was straight up.
Is that all right? You use that word?
Yeah, it's our word. It's our word.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking because I've been banned before, not from using that word, but from just having spicy takes on other platforms.
I've dropped it before.
Okay, cool.
So Like, I mean, that's, but yeah, no, we had a shorter, like, we had less fucking baggage to deal with. We had less systemic baggage to deal with. It was an easier run up for us, for sure. And, we took over Hollywood. We fucking stole the rainbow from fucking society. Like, are you kidding me? We fuck straight ballered this shit up in here. But yeah, we probably do have better representation, at least in some areas right now.
Oh, it's no probably there. Most definitely, I do.
But I mean,
most definitely.
Learn from us, and two, like that's we are the original freedom fighters, though. A lot of the, I guess, activism and rights that's been passing today is due to the off the backs of us, which we are the giants. So I think y'all learn from us. I mean, no offense. I mean this with as little offense as possible. The black community and the gay community have not exactly been allies.
I don't know about that, but I'm willing to listen. I can't say that.
I would defer to the testimony of my previous partners.
I know where you're going, but I wouldn't completely agree with that. But I could see why you would say that.
There's some rampant homophobia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean,
I would say that is true, and I will also say that we as black people, especially African Americans in America, are the most compassionate people, and we love everybody, sometimes to our detriment. And that would include homosexuality or homosexual people, because even in the black church, a lot of homosexuals went to the black church. We was very accepting of that.
Well, let me tell you, if you wanna further engender yourselves like really easily, believe we exist and believe we're born this way.
I think we have a different opinion. I mean,
we don't choose this.
I know y'all exist now. We don't choose I know
this.
Y'all exist. I would never say that y'all don't.
That's like
I'm not saying that y'all don't exist. I think that as far as it being born, like, I don't know. Like, even though, like, I just know that I'm here as far as a heterosexual man. If there's proof of, I guess, LGBT DNA or a gene, I'll be willing to look into that.
Why do you need the proof? Just believe us.
Well,
how many papers for systemic racism do you expect white people to read, or do you just expect them to believe what the fuck you're telling them?
Say that again.
Well, like how many academic papers on systemic racism do you expect white allies to read, or do you just like, for the fuck's sake, like how many fucking times do we have to show you a video of a cop beating down a black dude in the streets for you to start getting with the program, right? Like there comes a point where it's like, dude, just believe us. We're telling you. Like for generations of people, for generations of gay people, we're telling you this is the way it is. Just believe us.
When you're talking about being born that way, I can't just go with that and compare it to like people being beat down by police officers. Like,
but you have zero experience in that. You have zero experience being a gay man.
I know.
So why don't you believe the gay man?
Because as far as the DNA and you saying like you're born that way, I think that opens up a whole, I guess, Pandora's box. Then people could argue other things like black people are born as evil or not human or whatever. You know, as far as the genetic, it being a genetic thing, I think that would have to be some scientific proof of that. I'm not trying to dehumanize or.
But you are.
I acknowledge.
But you
I'm
are.
not trying to. If you think that I am, that's not my intention. If you think that I am, that's not my intention. You still there, or?
Oh yeah, I just
okay. Yeah, if you think that I am, that's not my intention. I acknowledge the LGBT community. I just think as far as genetic, I can't even prove like I was born heterosexual. So
Then
if that
why,
makes sense.
then
So I
why
can't.
is it even
like-
a point of discussion?
Well, we got here because we got to an understanding that you're an LGBT man and I'm a heterosexual man. So I think that's how we got here. Or that's why it was a discussion.
So here's my
answer your-
proposition then.
Okay.
You as a heterosexual black man, and me as a homosexual white man.
Okay.
How about we just trust each other on our lived experiences?
Okay.
It's that simple. Like you've operated in good faith the entire time you're here. I
Absolutely.
believe-
And likewise to you. Likewise to you.
let's just trust each other on this one. I think that's a good place to move forward from. It's just mutual trust. Like you tell me how it is, I'll believe you. Let me tell you how it is for me, believe me.
Okay.
It's that simple.
I think that's where a lot of things start is good faith, especially when it comes to dialogue, especially when it comes to dialogue and discussions.
So
You know,
yeah, that's who cares what the scientists have to say on this one, right? Right? Who cares what the politicians have to say? Who cares what the fucking so-called experts have to say? When there's people suffering, what matters is the people suffering and how we best alleviate that. And we got fucking
I'd agree with that.
we got crazy fucking Christian radicals and fucking Muslim radicals and religious radicals of all fucking types and shapes and bigots of all types and shapes that want to fucking kill queers and kill black men and white women and trans people. And how about we just go from there and be like, hey, the hate-filled asshole over there yelling about like purging people, them. Let's deal with them. Who cares? All right, like that's. I think that's a good ground to move
That's
forward.
a good start. Exactly. I agree with that. That's a good start. That's
Yeah.
a good start.
We'll just believe each
And-
other's lived experiences, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
it's been a fucking run, man. I've got Genesis waiting in the wings this entire time.
Okay,
He wants to
no
discuss
problem.
something.
problem. And you said you stream 5 days a week?
I
or-
take days off
Think you gotta-
randomly. You know, fucking. What are you gonna do, right? Self care.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and then Tuesday, Thursdays, 11:30 p.m. Pacific.
Would that be Eastern time?
Plus 3 hours. So 8:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 your time, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, and then 2:30 your time, Wednesday morning, like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and then Thursday night, Friday morning.
Okay. I would I thank you. I appreciate you for allowing me on your platform and like to discuss some more things. I would like to start my own, I guess, channel and maybe have you on one day
Rock on.
and you got yourself a strong supporter just from this discussion right here in the future.
Stick around in the Discord community, have conversations. You know, I mean, you can always get a hold of any of us, myself included, on the Discord server.
Okay, no problem. I'll stay in the chat.
All right, man. Cool. Thanks for hanging out.
Later.
Later, man.
Thank you.
Let's get Genesis up in here. All right. You are eminently patient, and I respect you, and I thank you for it.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Let me give me a count to 5 just so I can get your volume levels set.
Of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you kindly. For everybody who was telling me one way or another or a line of inquiry or whatever, please, dial the flame back a little bit. But Friedman's going to be in chat. Feel free to ask him. Please do not dogpile. Be respectful. That sort of thing. But because I know a few of you have lines of inquiry that you wanted me to pursue that I saw, but I did not pursue because I had my own tack that I was choosing to pursue. Genesis, what is up? What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, so I'll preface by saying this. I have a lot of innate bias because of the university I go to. It's a right wing school, and I'm into business school.
Okay.
It's not fun. I think I'm a left winger. But I want to ask about co ops because I've been trying to do my own research, but I want to bounce a couple ideas here and there and see how it sort of sounds. Like, does it seem right? If it doesn't seem right, you can push it a little and see, oh, maybe I'm not right after all.
We have one member of our community who is a high-level, dual-majored economist and finance major who operates at the vice presidential level for risk management for a multi-billion-dollar investment firm. He went to school. He's freshwater. Since you're going to business school, he's freshwater. He went to school. And all of his teachers were sort of, standard neoliberal territory, right-wing territory, et cetera, et cetera. He came out an anarcho-syndicalist. So you are far from the only one who entered something like, economics or business school and had that dawning realization that I may not agree with this. So you're in good company.
I'll start off with a small tangent, but then get back on topic. It's like, what do you call it? I agree with some or even a lot of the assumptions, but I don't agree with the conclusions where we end up on things. That's a bit absurd, but
That's fair.
cooperatives. As far as I know, the school basically lied to me about how cooperatives aren't efficient. They're very efficient in the respect of not only autonomy, but recently also wages. They are able to ignore perverse incentives very well, and that's honestly a lot. However, there's one thing I do think about, and has been a, what do you call it? It's been a relevant point now that we see like companies and other organizations become bigger and bigger. How do co-ops scale in size? Because one of the things I know about businesses and equity and all that is that the more members you have, the more diffuse the ownership becomes.
Have you studied the Mondragon Corporation yet?
Partially, the university neglects to teach much about it.
Of course, a $25 billion cooperative entity, they probably would skip over that if that's not fitting their narrative. Mondragon isn't the perfect cooperative by any means. Don't take this as some sort of endorsement of it necessarily. But as far as scaling goes, there are multiple multi-million-dollar cooperatives that operate facilities across multiple states and as well as multiple nationalities across the globe. The scaling issue isn't terribly difficult to hurdle for cooperatives. It just sort of depends as to how your operating governance is set up in its initial form as to whether you're going to accommodate that scaling issue. You can also bypass the scaling issue by federating it to a certain extent as well. And sort of adding a divisionary system within it. So they are their own operational entities, and that they don't all need the same umbrella organization controlling them. You could implement a sort of anarchistically inspired system of governance in that regard. But there are numerous methodologies that cooperatives have used to address the scope and scale issue over the years. Mondragon definitely would be an example of one that just fucking leaped right over it. And I mean, they have quite a few assets at their disposal these days. Though their governance is not directly in line with traditional cooperative style operation, their founding, origination, and most of their growth pattern is in line with traditional cooperative modalities.
I'm starting to get the picture, and how to best describe it. There's some kind of, like sometimes when you get brainwashed and then you're trying to shake it off, but there's some lingering like after images. That's what I'm kind of going through at the moment, and so I trust you. I've been watching you for a while, a bit silently, and I trust you to help get me through this. It's kind of a weird thing almost.
It's okay. I fucking take my hand. Take my hand.
Show me the world. Something like that. I don't know.
Where may I ask? What part of the world you're going to school in?
In the U.S.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, we're propagandized and brainwashed from birth, right? Like we're one of the most propagandized people on the planet. It's high level propaganda in this country. So I feel you. Here's what we know, right? Some really interesting groups that have looked into hierarchical business organizational structure. One of them was the Department of Defense. They needed an operating modality that would allow for chain of command to be bypassed for field operations, especially that with regard to special operations units. Once the task is known, they need to be able to deploy and not have to do chain of command operations. So the Department of Defense looked into how resilient and how effective hierarchical organization modalities are. And what they found was, yes, and this is how most Spec Ops teams operate today. Now, I juxtapose this against the British Architectural Association. All right, like if you need two ends of a spectrum, right? The United States Department of Defense and the British Architectural Association. These are two groups that have looked into these sort of styles of operation. The British Architectural Association looked into whether businesses or architectural firms that operate hierarchically versus heterarchically, so vertically versus horizontally, whether there's a pro or con, whether there's benefits, whether there's risks, whether there's drawbacks, what did they find? The British Architectural Association found that the firms that were operating hierarchically, that had a non-hierarchical leadership profile, were more resilient in downturns of in the economy. They found that their production levels were higher than that of a hierarchical organization. They found that the employment or the employee satisfaction rate was higher. They found that the client satisfaction rate was higher. They found greater rates of creativity and acceptance of the creativity within the organizational structure as well. So it is better for the economy locally. It is better in the long term because it's more resilient. It is better for the employees because they have a higher rate of happiness working at that organization. And it is better for the clients because they are both more productive and more creative in their output.
How do I say this? I cannot deny that. So I that makes a lot of sense. And I guess one of the things you mentioned before was the initial form of a company transitioning into a worker co-op model.
Yep.
And that having an effect on that transition, the initial form of it. What do you call it? Is there a way to, how do you say, make it easier, like legally, for instance, for a company to become a worker co-op? Like,
yeah, there's
a bit nitty-gritty, but
yeah, no, there are numerous hurdles. I would defer to Irish Swede, and he's on our Discord server. He tapped out like an hour and a half ago or something like that on the channel. But Irish Swede on our Discord server is definitely the person who can give you hard specifics as far as the legalities go, like which licensing, which policies, which like financial procedures that have to be followed within the industry that are more restrictive. But there are a series of things, and we've discussed them before, and I don't remember them specifically, but that's his field, like straight up, like those sorts of financial regulations. There are things though that are codified within our system of like financial governance that could be rewritten or removed that would make forming and operating cooperatives a more accessible thing. Yes.
Thank you for that comment, and thank you for helping me find someone who might know more about this. This is going to initially seem like a tangent, and then I'm going to tie it back in. It'll take less than a minute.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
So, police unions are not always, but sometimes they're democratically kind of oriented. They have someone they work under. It's like the mayor. It's a very weird situation where police unions are not always accountable, you see. And I know this myself as a person who does extensive watchdog research in my area about every individual report that comes through, every complaint that comes through the office. We're an independent sort of group. We're not hired by the government even. We're literally on volunteer basis, but that's besides the point. I guess what I'm asking is, how do we prevent that from happening? Like that, because people say it's like the workers' sort of union, but it's not anarchist. And so I hope I'm describing the situation well enough. I can take a bit more time, but what do you think?
Take more time.
Alright, so people describe the police union as a place where workers can collaborate, they can leverage things, but they're leveraging against a city sometimes for very bad reasons. For instance, police in the United States, especially in my area, often leverage for higher wages, but then do things that are increasing their wages even more. And so one of the things we talked about in my community is overtime during protest events. Like, a lot of it, like hundreds of hours at a time in a week. And so one of the things we want to do is we want to, frankly, be able to just fire them. But we have to go through this process of, we have to talk to them, we have to go through this legal process that was set up by the union. It's difficult sometimes, and I think about that, and it's left a sour taste in some people's mouth on the word union. I guess this is not really on worker co-ops anymore, but
it's
how do you
fine.
get that taste out of people's mouths and put the word union back in them?
Okay, so we've done the union spiel many fucking times. I'm not telling you I'm not going to do anything here. I'm just saying, like, this is one of those nails I've hammered for years and years and years and years. So basically, it starts with the Taft-Hartley Act, 1947 Taft-Hartley Act. This is where the federal government of the United States recaptures the power on behalf of the capital class from the labor forces of the U.S. Prior to that, the 1935 Labor Relations Act formalized and codified the formative powers that were utilized for the 1920s sort of labor movement that we're all sort of familiar with, that Upton Sinclair era of labor relations, right? The reclaiming, the wildcat strikes, the solidarity strikes, all these sorts of things. All of that is made illegal in the Taft-Hartley Act. From that point forward, the capital class then utilizes the federal powers to recapture unionization and recapture the labor powers of the U.S. What you have to sort of reclassify in people's minds, and your own if you haven't already, is that the police union is not the proletariat, right? These are the enforcers of the status quo. This is the police of the oligarchs. The historical context for the police in the United States, and Friedman, if you're still here, you're gonna fucking love this. There's two formative groups for the police in the United States. The North, it is called the Big Stick, basically born of the Peel reforms that created the Metropolitan Police Force of London, got transplanted into Boston. These systems became what was known as the Big Stick. They are owned, operated, and set up wholly by the capital class. They were used to destroy and disrupt any labor actions that took place. It didn't matter if it was Jews, Gentiles, Italians, it didn't matter. If the workers of the plant started organizing, the police force of those localities, New York, Chicago, Boston, New York, Chicago were the first primary ones. What they would do is the oligarchs of the region, the sort of mini bourgeois would they'd pay for the building, they'd pay for the equipment, they'd pay for the uniforms, they'd pay the salaries of the police, and they would use them as a weapon against the labor classes. In the South, you have the slave patrols, which operated as a de facto legal system. They operated as a terrorist organization, and they of course did the slave recapture and returned, and on-site punishment as was contracted by various plantations. These two groups merge together and form an unbroken thread from the era of chattel slavery and horrific labor relations in America all the way forward to today. Never was there a reform, never was there a reboot of the system, never was there a change. The police are literally the weapon of the capital class. So allowing them to have a tool of the proletariat, such as unionization, is counterproductive and counterintuitive to the labor movement itself. They shouldn't have a union.
Okay, so it finally clicked when you said they shouldn't have a union. It took a lot of effort, but I think I get it. Basically, it's all nominal. It's in name only, right? And so, I think the next move in my community is to point out that it's in name only. They don't act like a normal union.
Correct.
They don't. Oh, that was a lot. I'm sorry. This is like 3 a.m. for me.
Hey, you do what you got to do, man. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna vibe for a bit, and then I might head off to bed. But I'm gonna vibe and chat a little bit longer.
Yeah, Scott adds nuance to that. Like, public sector unions are trash because you're negotiating with the state and tax dollars. That's the thing, is you're arguing with the state. And if you accept that the state has been de facto captured by oligarchical or capital class ownership, then what you're doing is utilizing public funds that have been captured by the capital class to fight against yourself. They shouldn't have it.
Funny story about that. I actually know a little bit more. They also directly take donations from a lot of rich people from police foundations. Mm-hmm. I think those should be flat out illegal, but that's just me. I'm gonna actually hop off now.
Well, see my origin story. That's always been the part of the police. The capital class has been funding the police in this country since the inception of metropolitan police forces in this country. It's always been that way. Yeah. So, Genesis, if you got to hop off, take care of yourself, do what you got to do. Yeah. Happy to help, man. Let's see. What do I got here? I got DMs. All right. Whew. You know, one of those streams where I feel really good about it? Genesis, take care of yourself, grab some water. Zartos. Fucking Zartos. I didn't get to really acknowledge you and you came in. One of the OGest of the OGs, everybody. Fucking Zartos in chat. I feel really good about this stream. I am miserable right now, physically. My body is burning. I'm mid-flare. All of this is just shit. All of this is just shit right now, right? But, holy shit, man. Holy shit. This is a good stream. Fucking Friedman and fucking Genesis and just a ton of fucking expositional knowledge, a ton of reaching across the aisle, ton of dialectical exercise. Yeah, it's been a really good fucking stream. So, what the fuck has been going on in chat? Now that I'm out of whatever educator mode, what the fuck has been going on in chat? Because y'all have been on a thing for a while. I mean, don't y'all got mods in there? Mena is just being a Rick, to be honest. Something about Cuber theory. Nah, it's not Cuba, it's Alabama. Nothing. I know y'all got at least one mod in there with you right now. Yeah. Frisbee golf flat earth chat. Fair enough. Oh, there we go. Job done. Yeah, you got two, so. Fair enough. Yeah, that was a thing. That was a fucking thing. I'm presuming that Mena person was just special. That's all I got. I'm gonna pop their chat history though, just so I can see. Hang on, bring that over here. I don't need that over here. Hey, Fire. Thank you kindly. So what the fuck were they on about? Okay, so that was the last time I fucking saw what this person was saying. Talking about the Jews, claiming to be Scottish, telling people to fight me, to fight him. Oh god, immigrants are invaders. Okay, cool. Got it. Yeah, alright. Cool. Oh, it's Eminem. It's Eminem. And now they're claiming to be Scottish? First they were Australian and now they're Scottish. That's fucking hilarious. Aussie. Oi. So it's an Eminem. Got it. Oh, fuck you, Gemma. Fuck you, Gemma. I was gonna raid into you, Gemma. Straight up. You're who I plan to raid into. Ah, fuck you, Gemma. Raphael, thank you for giving me Bezos bucks too. Give me Daddy Bezos' money. Thank you kindly, Raphael. Thank you, Friedman. Well, Dude, Gemma, I'm mid-flare. My entire fucking body is on fire right now. So, you do what you gotta do, right? Do what you gotta do. Let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking clickety clack. Jesus. Wrong click. Who the fuck is this? Do we know this person, Karina? Like, how do we know this person, Karina? To an anarchist organization with the function of defending society from hostile influences, for example, foreign capitalists wanting a piece of the world. The difference is the level of coercion and authoritarianism would probably be the like quickest answer. We could do a meta ethical analysis, 7HPZ. We could get into the like meta ethical philosophical analysis of this, but the brass tacks answer that we can sort of shorthand is going to be the level of coercion and authoritarianism that is implemented within that system. The anarchistic organization that would do that defending would be volunteer. It would be a free association. It would be an affinity group rather than a forced association, as is standardized under traditional state structure, capitalist structure, neoliberal structure, X, Y, and Z. I hope that answered it. No, Friedman. I'd have to go down a list. And maybe like think about it. Off the top of my head, nobody really immediately springs to mind though. Lord Acton rule, Friedman. Lord Acton. Power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, power tends to corrupt. So people in power tend not to be susceptible for the most part. So I would have to go down a list basically and be like, maybe, no, maybe, that sort of thing. Okay, so all right, I just want to make sure I didn't miss an answer here. I was asking somebody something though. Okay. He types but he's polite. Interesting. Okay. Friedman, yes. But it's distributed correctly. If we were to, no, there is no absolute power in anarchism. Most anarchists would be advocating for something called consensus decision making. If you're not familiar, Friedman, cs.kaisthings.com, KAIS things.com. So cs.kaisthings, THINGS.com. That is my cheat sheet. It's still very much alpha version, but if you scroll down to the anarchism section, there will be a tab called consensus decision making. Most anarchists advocate for consensus decision making. It basically undermines the ability for anybody to have absolute power. So there you go. Ruined Turtle Island. Okay, so they turned down the raid. Got it. I saw that happen. Yeah, let me check. Let me check a couple here. Let me check a couple. Nope. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the raid policy is really simple. You have to be single digits. Done. There's the cheat sheet, Genesis, and then the website is just guys' things. They seem to be on break right now. I don't want to raid into them when they're not there, though.
Oh, that's really strange.
Fuck it. Alright. Done. We made some new friends. We educated. We reached across the aisle. We got shit done. Honestly, what more can you ask from a stream? Right? Got some new allies. Had a meeting of the minds. Banned a dryland or two. Got some OGs. Got an OG from the fucking old days swinging through. Friedman, a raid is where the channel viewership is taken to another channel. And so, yes, the stream is over. But basically, it allows me to transfer viewership over to somebody else. We laughed, we cried, we uncovered another anti-Semite. Exactly. We got a duck. Be over. Yeah, free tacos would be nice. I'm sorry I didn't deliver on the free tacos. Tomorrow is Friday. Or today is Friday. So today is Bad Movie Night. For those of you who are new, we do Bad Movie Night on the Discord server. Feel free to join us. It's after the stream tomorrow or today. Join today's stream. You'll learn more. Either way, hope you guys are as well as you can be. I'll catch you on the next stream.